Tennessee Titans fans, it appears that the quarterback scene is becoming a little clearer as free agency is opened up and Sam Darnold has found a home in Seattle, $100 million. And Justin Fields has found a home with the Jets. So Seahawks, check. Jets, check. Fields, check. Darnold, check. What does that mean? And also throw the Raiders in there because they traded for Geno Smith. That was another quarterback needy team that was crossed off the list. So, where do we stand with the Titans? Well, Aaron Rodgers is still out there. I haven't heard the Titans name attached to him once. Unless it was like a reporter for the Titans talking about how much the Titans don't want him. I just don't think Aaron Rodgers to the Titans is a thing that even feels remotely possible at this point. Also, Kirk Cousins, the situation with him in Atlanta is very weird. Looks like they want to keep him as a backup. I have no clue what's going on there. And last but not least, Russell Wilson, who is becoming a more prominent name as these other guys are off the market now. The Giants, Steelers. Feels like Rodgers is going to one and Russ is going to the other. A lot of this is going to tell you where we may stand in the draft. How desperate are the Giants going to be to get Cam Ward? How desperate are they going to be? What role are the Steelers going to play in this? Because if the Steelers come in and they get Aaron Rodgers, that puts the Giants in a tough spot because then it's Russ or bust. What a miserable position to be in. So, how desperate are the Giants going to be? How desperate are the Browns going to be? We're not talking about the Browns a whole lot, but the Browns need a quarterback just as bad as anybody. They just signed Myles Garrett to an ungodly amount of money yesterday, which means they need to figure out how to start winning and they need to get good quick. So it almost feels like if they stay at number 2, are they going to feel obligated to draft Shedeur Sanders because they got to do something? And it looks like, they can try and take a swing at Kirk Cousins. I guess the Titans could do that too. But we're running out of options. And by the time we figure out where Rodgers is going, and by the time we figure out where Russell Wilson is going, that's going to be pretty telling in terms of where we may be headed for the draft. Because I would think if the Giants are able to pick up Aaron Rodgers, they're not going to be as willing to sell the house to move up to number 1. So everybody needs to be watching the Aaron Rodgers reports. Everybody needs to be watching the Russell Wilson reports. As far as the Titans quarterback situation, I talked about it on the podcast today, and I will reiterate it here. I have seen the reports about Mac Jones. I have seen the reports about Zach Wilson. I don't buy it. I don't think that's where we're headed. I think the Titans have made it clear that they want a veteran quarterback who can either compete with Will Levis or mentor Cam Ward. Mac Jones nor Zach Wilson strike me as that kind of guy. Those guys are still young. Those guys they don't strike me as like a Jacoby Brissett who would be more willing to mentor the young guy. That's not what I see with Mac Jones and especially Zach Wilson. The only thing old about Zach Wilson are the women that he dates. So, looking at other options, I'll tell you who I would like. Do I have something in my hair? Or is that a reflection of the sun? Whatever. I'll tell you who I would like as a Titans backup. I know it's not going to be Rodgers. It's probably not going to be Cousins. It's not going to be Russell Wilson. You're looking at a backup caliber player. First of all, I mentioned him, Jacoby Brissett. I wouldn't mind him and Cam Ward together. I wouldn't mind Jameis Winston as a backup. He would bring some personality, some culture, and be entertaining and a good mentor. I feel like he would be more prone to take a mentor role than, say, a Mac Jones or a Zach Wilson. And I'll tell you another name that I wouldn't mind as a backup, and that is Marcus Mariota. I don't know if he'd want to come back 10 years after he was drafted here, and obviously things didn't work out, but I think Marcus Mariota would be, at this point, considered a quality backup in the NFL who would be a good mentor. I think he was a good mentor for Jaden Daniels in Washington last year. You saw some of the clips of Marcus kind of encouraging Jaden Daniels in the middle of a tough, close game. I wouldn't mind Marcus at all. If you draft Cam Ward, you bring in Marcus Mariota to be the backup, I think that would be perfectly fine. But those are the kind of caliber players you're looking at quarterback for Tennessee, whether they draft Cam Ward or not. But we have to say this. If you don't draft Cam Ward, if you don't draft Shedeur Sanders, if you draft Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, you trade back, whatever, the Titans are going to be horrible in 2025 if they don't draft a quarterback. They're going to be terrible. And Brian Callahan better just start packing his bags right now. He is a lamb being led to the slaughter if the Titans don't draft Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders at this point. Because you're either putting your coaching career in the hands of Will Levis again, or maybe at best you can put your coaching career in the hands of Kirk Cousins if you can pry him away from Atlanta. The ghost of Kirk Cousins who can barely move. Does that feel like a good option? Or you're putting your coaching career in the hands of a backup caliber player like Jacoby Brissett or Jameis Winston. Either way, that's a situation like what the Raiders were in last year with Gardner Minshew, who I guess would also apply as a quality backup. You would be in the same situation they were in. And what happened to their coach, Antonio Pierce? Oh, yeah, he got fired. So if I'm Brian Callahan, I'm feeling a little uneasy right now. And I'm looking at Mike Borgonzi and I'm looking at Chad Brinker and I'm saying, we better be drafting Cam Ward because I am up a creek without a paddle if you guys don't draft Cam Ward, because we're looking at Will Levis, Kirk Cousins, or a backup caliber player, which you could argue Kirk Cousins is a backup caliber player at this point. We're running out of options. And I don't know how desperate the Giants are going to get if they don't land Aaron Rodgers, especially if they were to not land Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, which I can't imagine. And even if they do, how desperate are the Giants going to be? How desperate are the Browns going to be? Are they going to offer the Titans something they absolutely cannot refuse and you just got to bite the bullet and be bad in 2025? I don't know. But all signs appear to be pointing that away toward Cam Ward. That's what it looks like to me right now. I don't see, especially now that offensive tackle isn't as big of a need, however you feel about the Dan Moore signing, it's not as high of a need now because you just signed a guy who's going to have to start and Latham's the other one. Still need a rotational guy, but I don't think you have to spend your second round pick on it. I just think that makes it more likely that they're going to take Cam Ward. Let me know what you think. Tighten up. Bye.